A long time ago, in the country of Greece, there lived a king, and his name was King Midas. King Midas was a gentle and decent king, but he had one problem with his ears. King Midas had big, floppy donkey ears. And the king didn't know why he had donkey ears. He just had them as long as he could remember. And do you think King Midas liked having donkey ears? No, he hated them, and he didn't want anyone to find out about his donkey ears. So he ordered a smith to make a huge crown for him that he put on his head, and he hid his donkey ears under it. And he wore that crown every day, the whole day long, even at night in his bed. Yeah, of course it was heavy, but nobody could find out about the secret, otherwise everyone would make fun of him. So Midas all had the crown on his head all day long. But of course you can't wear a crown forever, because there is one person that you always have to take your hat, your cap and your crown off for. Do you know who that is? Yes, of course, the barber. Otherwise he can't cut your hair. And King Midas thought, what can I do? I, if I take my crown off for the barber, he'll know that I have donkey ears, but my hair is getting too long now. So eventually he decided to invite a barber to his palace. And there comes the barber, the best barber in all the land. He knocks on the palace gate, and the guards sent him to the throne room. There is the king, and the king alone, no one else. The king says, "Enter, barber. Close the door." The barber does that, and then the king says, "Barber, I want you to cut my hair, and if you do that I will reward you greatly. But before you do it, there is one thing I have to tell you. If I take my crown off, you are going to see something you have never seen before. But you must promise not to tell a soul. Otherwise you'll be thrown into the deepest dungeon for the rest of your life." And the barber says, all right, your majesty, okay." Then Midas takes off his crown, and the donkey ears jump up, boing! And the barber jumps up with disbelief. Your majesty, you have. And the king says, "Yes, barber, but remember you must not tell a soul." And the barber says, "Okay, your majesty." And he starts cutting the king's hair, being very careful around those amazing ears. And when he's finished, the king puts on his crown again, and then sends for a servant to give the barber a big bag of coins. And the barber goes home to his wife, still trembling with amazement over what he just witnessed in the palace. He feels the secret pressing onto his stomach, and there is nothing he would have loved more than to shout it out to the whole world. And when he sits at the dinner table with his wife, he almost can't control himself anymore, and he goes like, you know, wife, you know, my dear, what I just saw at the king's. The king has big, huge..." And his wife goes like, "What? What does the king have?" And the barber goes, Nothing, nothing, my dear. But the ordeal for our poor barber gets even worse, because a month later the king calls for him again. And in the palace King Midas takes his crown off again, and the ears jump to attention. Boing! And again the barber startles, but he manages to hide it. He cuts the king's hair again, and he gets another big bag of money, and he leaves. But the longer the barber carries the secret with him, the heavier it becomes, and another month later the king sends for him again, and he takes off his crown again, and the ears jump up, boing, and so does the barber. And finally, when the barber is finished and on his way home, he can't control himself anymore. He runs off through the city gates into the meadows, where there is no one around him for miles and miles. And there he digs a big hole into the ground, and into that hole he whispers, "King Midas has donkey ears." And he stamps the dirt on the hole. There. The secret is off his chest and safe for anyone, buried under the ground. The barber goes home, happier than he has been in months. But at the place where the barber has buried the secret into the ground grows a little plant, and the roots go down into the earth to the spot where the secret lies. The secret goes up through the roots and saturates the very plant itself. And when the wind blows through the plant, the secret is carried away all the way to the town, and the people in the city hear it as soft as the wind. The king has donkey ears. And they all go like, "Hey, what's that?" It sounds like the king has donkey ears! "Hey, baker, have you heard it? The king has donkey ears!" "What? Butcher, have you heard it? The king has donkey ears!" "Hey, wife, have you heard that? Of the king and his donkey ears?" "Oh, really? How amazing!" And within the hour the whole city knows it, and they all go to the palace square to laugh and to call for the king. "Ha ha! Hey, king, show us your donkey ears!" And the king in his palace hears it, and he freezes with despair. His secret is known. Full of shame, he runs to the toilet, never wanting to come out again. But then he hears a little voice on the square. A young boy calls out, "People, the king may have donkey ears, but he still is our gentle and good king." And the crowd is silent for a moment, and then all the voices say, "Yeah, the boy is right. The king is still a great king, even if he has donkey ears." And then all people cry out, "Long live our king! Long live our king with the donkey ears!" The king hears it, and after a few minutes he comes out of the toilet, and he walks slowly to the balcony. All people cheer at him. "Long live the king!" And then King Midas takes his crown off, and his ears jump up, boing, under a loud applause of the crowd. And from that day on, King Midas has never been ashamed anymore of what he was, donkey ears or not.